Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Sterling Morse Jr., and he's going to be playing Floyd in the upcoming indie film Smack. Hey Sterling, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays. I'm glad to have you on. I look a mess right now. Don't mind the hair. I was telling you before we started, I was visiting family over the holidays, and my dad, it was the first holiday. Thought my daddy passed away in August.
Right.
So that was tough. And then it's a 3-hour drive, and then I had work first thing in the morning at 4:30. and yeah, so I look like a hot mess today. Yeah, but I'm so glad to have you on. Cody Faulk is a good friend of mine. I wanted to help him out as much as I possibly can with Smack, and he gave me a couple of names, and yours was one of them. And I'm like, absolutely, I would be honored to have him on the show. And I'm glad you're here.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. So the first question I got for you is, how did you get your start into acting?
Oh man. So I've always had a love for it, but I admit I was afraid to do it for years. And back in 2014, I was living in Chicago, and I didn't realize that they shot so many shows there and movies, of course. So there are casting agencies and everything. So my friend of mine, advised me and said, "Hey, you should, just try to do something." So, I was just doing some extra work, and I was an extra on. I remember the episode, Chicago PD, season 2, episode 6, Prison Ball. That's the name of that. And I was an inmate. We shot it in a live prison, Cook County Prison.
Okay.
Even the inmates actually see us. It was like crazy. And of course, they tell you, oh, don't talk to the actors, but they end up talking to you. And so I got a lot of wisdom from the actors, and actually just seeing how everything works on set.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, I think I want to try this, right? So I ended up moving back to the DC area and ended up getting on a few crime reenactment shows on the TV1. And I mean, those are mostly improv, right? But it was acting, and I loved it. All right. And so I'm loving it, but I'm like, I'm not passionate about it yet, right? Then I get an opportunity. There's a show on the all black streaming service called Double Cross, and I get an opportunity. I audition for a role. I fly out to LA. I'm on set, and it's the first time I'm seeing like star actors I've been watching on TV, and I'm in scenes with them, and I'm in the trailer going over my lines. I'm like, oh my god, this is great. And the producer calls me like the night before and says, "Oh, we forgot to ask you, are you able to do your own stunts?" And I'm like, yeah. Right. And I get to set. I'm like in the scene with the 2 stars of the show. I'm literally fighting them at the same time. We have a fight choreographer. I'm like thrown in. This is my first time with legit lines. Right.
Goodness.
After I was done shooting about 30 takes of a fight scene, I was tired. I was just sore. I ripped a couple shirts. And I went back to my Airbnb that night, and I said, "Oh my God, this is what I want to do." Right. So I immediately came back to DC afterwards and just enrolled in some acting training courses, and that's how it started.
Nice. So do you do improv a lot, or do you prefer it where you have like a script to kind of guide you with what to say dialogue wise?
Well, I like the fact that I have the ability to improv. I mean, it depends on who the director or the showrunner is, basically. I'm gonna give you freedom, as long as you in the context of the scene, and it's something like, don't deviate from the lines, just do it word for word, right?
Right.
Those times where I can go off of the actual written words a little bit, I'm glad I do have that ability.
Yeah.
That sometimes you may do something. I've seen where I was just playing around, in between takes, and the director was like, "Wait a minute, hey, wait, do that again." So
Nice. Yeah, and acting is its own talent, its own skill set. But then improv is even though it's the same thing really as acting, it's its own skill set and its own talent, because it's really hard to improvise off the top of your head and not stray away from the main plot and focus of the story.
Yeah, yeah. And because of that, I actually went and took with the first and second level of improv with the DC Improv actually.
Nice.
So and that was
So if you would have to say like the best advice for somebody that's watching this that would like to learn improv, what would it be?
I would say definitely take a class. Because it definitely helps. And it actually, it's not even just acting. I think I was the only actor in my class. Like everyone, it was like school superintendents and principals and executives, and but it helps. It helps you, and as those people and as an actor, it helps you to think like just on your right. It just come up with stuff like at the drop of a hat within context.
Right.
Without thinking.
Absolutely. Yeah. So now going into Smack, how did you happen to get involved with this project?
I auditioned, and I can't remember if Cody reached out to me or I just submitted myself. I really can't remember on Backstage. But got in contact with Cody. He sent me the sides, and I did a self-tape.
Awesome.
And the crazy thing about it is that where I was, like, I had to get the self-tape in, and it's like in my environment where I was, it was like I had to be like, oh my God, like really kind of incognito, and it was kind of dark in there, and I was like, oh, this is gonna suck, right? And the way that I did it, apparently that was the way that they wanted it, the way that Cody, he liked it. And when I got the role, I mean, Cody, it was a really great compliment that Cody gave me, that he said they were searching for Floyd for a very long time.
Nice.
So once they gave me the role, I said, wow, okay, I must have did something right.
Absolutely. So as you just mentioned, you got cast as the role of Floyd. So what can you tell us about Floyd? Who is he and what is he about? I guess without giving away too much.
Well, Floyd is without giving too much, he's kind of I don't know if he's a kingpin, but he's kind of on that level of a I guess a drug organization. Like he's the top dog.
Okay.
Right. And he's all about his business.
Nice.
Nice. And so then but there are different various levels to Floyd actually. So
and that role is sometimes, as you said, he was searching for that role for a long time, which means it must have been a very important role. And that type of position in a movie where you're playing like the drug lord, so to speak, like that is a very intense, very powerful role, especially in a movie like this.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of this movie, I guess for those who are like unaware of what this movie is about and haven't maybe even seen my previous interviews, so can you tell us a little bit about what is Smack? Like, what is this movie about?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a definitely a love story, right? But it's really one of those stories that shows the effects of drug abuse, right? And how it can affect people and families and people's lives, So and then also this is definitely a film that's going to bring awareness to that abuse. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and I like everybody so far that I've interviewed from this movie said exactly what you did, not just the love story part, but also that it's going to bring awareness to the epidemic that is going on, that is really taking over this nation of the opioid crisis. And it's really something that should be told, and a lot of people do tell it, but they don't tell it the way it should be told. They do it, like, I guess you could say, they Hollywood it. from what I was gathering from this movie and just being friends with Cody, this movie isn't just glamorizing it and making it Hollywood based and putting that spin on it. It's telling it in a real way, like a very real and a very dark way that will get the point across that it's meant to put.
Yeah, it's definitely raw. It's
Yeah.
definitely raw. It kind of reminds me of like The Wire was like that show. Like, it was so raw and gritty, but it was real. It lets you know, like, okay, this is what is going on,
Right,
so
exactly. And
yeah.
sometimes you need that reality, because if you don't get that realism, or if you get the over the top glamorized version of it, it's not
Yeah.
going to make the point across to help. This could be a potential way to help people that see it, that are addicts, or have family members that are addicted to drugs, realize, like, this is what's happening. We need to help our loved ones, or we need to help ourselves.
Yeah.
You know?
It's wild because, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have someone in their family, friends, loved ones that, are going through this, have gone through this,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
uh,
Absolutely. So, what was it like working with Cody? I know we spoke about him a lot. So, what is it like working with him? How is he on set?
oh man, Cody is, he's a joy to work with because,
Mhm,
if I'm like one of those people that I have like a lot of ideas, right? And so I don't want to step on, the writer's toes or the
mhm,
director's toes or anything, but a lot of times I think me and Cody were kind of on the same page.
mhm.
And then just working with him on set, he's definitely a method actor, so
Yeah.
it's like he like really gets into it,
Mhm,
and that actually helps me, right? Because I can read the script, I can read the sides,
mhm.
and I can come up with my interpretation of the
Yeah.
character. But once I get on set, you know something else just comes out. Just working with another actors or working with Cody, it just brings out what you didn't perceive the character as, or what,
Right.
and characteristics, is, helps you bring it out. Honestly, it's funny being Floyd. I think I literally was kind of turning into Floyd because like Cody was like literally making me sick.
Yeah.
Like, well, I can't say Cody. Dean was making me sick.
Right. Oh my goodness. And I know Cody's method acting, and he described to me what it was like getting into the role and what he did to
Yeah,
research the role. And, like, that means you're dedicated to the role. Like, you're trying to make this as real as you possibly can without doing physical damage to your own body and mind and soul. Which,
yeah,
even doing that can, like, it getting into that part so good, like so hard into it, it can mess up the mind to an extent, because you're getting in that character's mindset.
yeah. Speaking of that, I think the last day I shot with Cody,
Mhm,
Cody asked me how did I feel. I think it was like the next day or 2 days later,
mhm.
and I told him that, man, I said that was intense, and I literally had to decompress.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
because even like, yeah, like that scene brought a lot out of me,
Mhm.
and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know, so
and you're the probably the second, maybe the third person that I interviewed from Smack that said scenes with Cody literally was it brought a lot out of them as well, because there were that
yeah,
intensive scenes. And that's what makes a movie worth watching, and it gets the audience invested into it, because the realism of the characters. You want that good acting, you want that good, that good story part, you want all
yeah,
that to mesh well.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to give a shout out to Zach Rushkin. I think that's how I
Okay.
pronounced his last. And so one of the scenes was, with him and uh, like Dean with Cody, and like he was amazing as well. Like, and he drew a lot out of me as well. You know,
Nice.
so even after we shot the scene, he was like, "Man, you're amazing." I'm like, "No, you are, you,
That's
So
awesome.
playing the pug character, so that was pretty good.
That's awesome. That's really
Yeah,
cool, and I can't wait to see this movie. And Cody knows that once it's available, because I didn't know of Smack when the Indiegogo was going on,
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't able to actually, invest anything or donate anything to the project itself. But I want Cody to know, like, I know he's going to be watching this, and you can like once that movie's out on Blu-ray or DVD, hit me up because I really want to see this, and I would love to have everybody from Smack on my show in a group, interview, maybe to promote the premiere. When if you guys have a premiere, which I'm sure you will, I would love to have everybody on, and we can work that out. Maybe create a group chat on Facebook, and we can make that happen, because I would love to have everybody on, promote the crap out of the premiere, and definitely talk about how this affected everybody involved. And you have to be a talented actor to be involved with this type of movie, because it's a very, very serious subject.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess, what was the most challenging part about filming your scenes for Smack?
It was just I guess bringing out Floyd's personality, right? So just brainstorming with Cody, we're trying to figure out, like, okay, what's the wardrobe going to be like? I mean, that was more Alice's decision. What's the personality and temperament, and we're, he was giving me examples from other movies and other characters and things of that nature. So I kind of pulled from those ideas, but at the same time, I pulled from personal experience. Not that I'm a drug lord or anything, but I've seen, I've known personally, without incriminating anyone, I've known people in like the real life Floyds, right?
Yeah.
And I've gone to school with them, or I've things of that nature. So just being able to pull from my personal experiences and seeing how people are, I maybe it might be a little bit of Floyd in me, right? And I can't remember, I don't know if it was Denzel Washington, it was some actor was talking about, just pulling parts of you out into the character, and this actor said that, give an example of Anthony Hopkins when he did a Hannibal. He said, there's a little bit of Hannibal Lecter in Anthony Hopkins. What I mean?
Yeah.
That he pulled out, right? So it's a little bit of Floyd in there,
Absolutely. Yeah. So what was the best part about filming Smack, and what was the worst?
Well, let me start off with the worst. I mean, it wasn't the worst, I guess. It was just, like I said, I won't call it the worst, because I enjoy this, but it was just the emotion of it, like I said, it was tough.
Yeah.
It was really tough, like I said, I literally went home after I was done, and like for 2 days, like I just turned off all the lights, closed the shades. I didn't want to talk to anybody, right? I was just like, I just need to,
yeah.
So I can't, there's a worst, right? The best part was, I mean, it's just everything. Like, the crew is amazing. Alice, was amazing. Jordan, like, that's my guy, man. He was amazing. Everyone's amazing. Yeah. We had a great time. It was like a family atmosphere, even though we had fun while we were doing it, but like, we really got the job done. So, and then like, and of course, coming out of it, we established some possible more professional and long-term relationships out of it as well. So,
yeah, absolutely. So when you first saw the script, what were your initial thoughts?
Okay, my initial thought was, okay, here we go, another drug lord. I've been drug lords, and I've been a warlord, I've been a drug lord,
right,
crooked cop, a crooked detective. I mean, all of that stuff. And so I said, oh, but once I read it, I literally I read the sides, and there were the parts where I'm like, wow, this is intense. And then there was a part where it made me laugh, kind of, because not Floyd really wasn't, it's not comedic, but I mean, it's just, it was just some things that he says that just kind of makes you laugh a little bit, but it's like he's just being so real, So he was real, but at the same time, I knew this character, for anybody who's going to watch this film, this character is basically going to show these people like, okay, look, it's not a game out here, and some real messed up things can happen, right? And so, I mean, I was immediately drawn to it.
Absolutely, and that's great. Like, it all starts really with the script. And that's what brings the people that want to be involved in the project to the project, because you have to believe in the project, you have to relate to the project, and it has to be a good screenplay, because if it's not a good screenplay, it's not, nobody's going to want to be in it, and nobody's going to want to watch it. And like you said, it's like, oh, another, drug movie, because we've seen a lot of them, been there, done that. But this movie, from what I've been told in interviews and from knowing Cody personally, is definitely not your typical drug movie.
It's not just a drug movie at all,
Absolutely. So the last question I have for you, do you have any future projects or anything else that you would like to plug or promote to the listening and the viewing audience?
Sure. Well, it just was released on December 7th. I'm in a film called Break Every Chain. It's a true story, which actually has the old Superman Dean Cain in the movie. Definitely has a message as well. You can find that on Amazon Prime, Google Play, Apple TV. And then I just wrapped up another film. It was actually another one that's bringing awareness to breast cancer in men.
Wow.
And also promoting, just want to make sure that men watch this and like say, hey, go get checked. Not even just for breast cancer, just period. Go to the doctor. Right. So and it was different. This was different. It was a challenge for me because it was not a villain. I'm playing a father that has breast cancer. So it's like very, very emotional. So and
you don't get that a lot, because women are mostly the ones associated with breast cancer. Men aren't. And believe it or not, men can get breast cancer. So this is something that would be a very good project, a very good film to get that out there, so more men can be tested.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I told someone I was shooting this movie, and this guy said, a colleague of mine just passed away from that.
Wow.
So, wow. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. That's awesome. So, well, I thank you so much, Sterling, for joining me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. I'm very glad to have you on. Like I said, I would like to have the rest of the cast, everybody that had an interview with me, and maybe we can get Alice to join us as well. And I would love to have you all on to promote this. Maybe I was thinking more closer to the premiere. That way we could promote the premiere, promote any ticket sales and all that stuff, and have everybody on and just discuss what it was like filming with each other as a group. And I think that would be amazing and be a blast.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Can't wait.
Yes, absolutely. You have a great rest of your day, Sterling.
All right. Same to you.
Bye.
All right.